this is a topic which is confusing to many people, so I figured why not make a video about it. And that is the difference between trance, channeling, and possession. Trance is a state of focus. When I say a state of focus, let's just say you can be engaging in activities and your mind can be hyper focused to the point where you lose contact with the reality outside of yourself. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Have you ever been playing a musical instrument or in a dancing session where you were so absorbed into what you were doing that you forgot what was going on in the outside world? You don't even realize who's standing next to you because you're so absorbed in what you're doing. This is trance. Nothing more, nothing less. Channeling is when you open yourself up to divine inspiration. You're gaining access to what some people call the Akashic records. We can see this as someone doing a reading. They're getting glimpses from the divine through clairvoyance or clairaudience. Then you have a vaudouisant, a person that is used as a mouthpiece for the spirit to give a divine message. Possession is borderlined with channeling, but in this case, the outside stimuli is submerged with its host. What do I mean by this? The individual and whatever influential factor become one entity. Have you ever seen someone who drinks and becomes violent? They're still here. They're still who they are, but they're influenced by something outside of themselves. But it's still them. They're just under the influence. Now, when they get violent, it's still them. There's just an influence present. And we can look at this as a realistic form of possession. Anytime you have outside influential factors that push people to do things that they normally wouldn't do, you can consider this a form of possession. Think about it. Back in the day, there were certain songs DJs would not play in clubs because they said that it would incite violence. These influences and how they impact the human psyche depends on the individual. A while back, there was a vaudou ceremony, right? I believe this probably took place in Canada, but one of the people that were allegedly possessed, they picked up a machete and started hacking the individual that I guess they previously had a problem with or an issue with. Now, what was said afterwards was the guy said he didn't know what he was doing. He was possessed. Whether he was trying to use voodoo as a scapegoat or not, there were factors present to influence him. Now, he ultimately made the choice to do what he wanted to do. But we also got to take a look at impulse control. The difference between an alcoholic enraged who becomes violent and a vaudouisant at a ceremony is that the vaudouisant has some level of control. At least that vaudouisant should have some level of control. The alcoholic, on the other end, they lack impulse control. That's why they're able to get violent. It's very rare that you see violence towards individuals occur in voodoo ceremonies. This is very rare. Sometimes you hear about it, but most of the time it's never prevalent. But in the case of this a machete attack that occurred last year, I believe in Canada, but it may have been Boston, I think, where an individual in a voodoo ceremony hacked someone that I believe he recently had problems with. It's a totally rare occasion. When it does occur, it's usually because of a lack of impulse control. Music is prevalent. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's under the influence. And sometimes a person can let themselves go. And whatever anger they already have in them, they take it out and display it on someone. When it comes to the demonstration of the supernatural, you want to be very cautious when it comes to various spiritualists, because a lot of people use that as a hook to get people to spend money with them. You put your trust in them because you see them eating glass. You think this person has a loi that's on their head making them do this. You see this person walking on fire. You see them putting a machete in fire and then licking it, and you think it's supernatural. No, these are tricks. You can find your typical magician in America doing these tricks, and they have no spiritual or religious connections to these Afrocentric religions at all, period. Readings, channeling, possession. Understand that these things need humans to work. Let me just say that again. These things, trance, channeling, possession, they need human beings to work. Understand that with human beings, they can be manipulative at times. They can take whatever they're getting, they can put a pause on it, and they can put their own spin on it. They can tell you things in the midst of them processing that's a mixture of what they're saying and what is coming from the divine. Sometimes they can omit what's being told them and put their own words in there, and you think it's a divine spirit speaking through them. So, you want to be cautious when you're in this community here. With that said, I hope this video was informative. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.